Today we're looking at Drew Doughty, all-star defenseman, Norris Trophy winner. He's been in the league 18 years, and I've played against this guy enough times to know he does subtle little things that you just really can't capture on camera. And I'm excited to break down his play for you guys because there's a lot of little things that I think you can learn from him. Today they're playing against Calgary Flames, and as defensemen, some things we're looking for going into a game like this are who are their top threats. Calgary's on a road trip, so that's something we can pay attention to. We got to hop on them early because they might be a little jet lagged or whatever. On their power play, do they have a main shooting guy, or how does their power play look like? Is their penalty kill aggressive? Do they kind of maintain a box more? What's their forecheck like? That's a big one I really look for as a defenseman. If you have access to game tape, you're always looking at their forecheck. Do they pressure hard? Do they trap more? Do they kind of jam up one side? So just some things that we would look at as defensemen going into a game. But yeah, let's just hop right into it. And don't forget to wait till the end, where I give you a summary of what I think of Doughty's game today and some key learning points to take away from the game. And pretty much right off the opening draw here, we have Doughty playing a nice little outlet for his D partner Anderson here. And he's doing a great job of just getting the space here and making sure his body's positioned up ice so he can see what's coming. As a defenseman, you're always trying to aim up ice and not have your back to the play. And some defensemen come into the DDD pass like this and have their back to the play, and that can get them in trouble. So Doughty does a good job. He knows what's going on here, and he just keeps the wrap going. It's a very simple play, but very effective. And it's a nice little breakout, and off they go. So great little opening play there. Next shift for Doughty here, we're going to see how he does in the D zone, covering Calgary. And right off the hop here, he's got Sharon Govich in the front, and he's doing a good job of boxing out. See how he's just moving him this way? He's not the biggest defenseman, but he does a really good job of making you not want to be in front of the net with him. He's very physical, boxes out well. And then here, he doesn't really have much of a play. He doesn't have great possession. And I think he does a good job of just tying the puck up. He just puts it in his feet here, and he's just kind of holding it there. And I think this is a mature play rather than just kind of trying to wheel it out and getting your pocket picked or doing a blind pass somewhere. He just kind of ties it up, gets some help in, and now he realizes he's out of position. So as a defenseman, when you're on defense, you really want to make sure you're between the net and the offensive guy. And right now, Doughty's on the opposite side of that. So watch what he does here. He notices it. Now he's between the net and the offensive guy. So he's in good position. And now he kind of loses the guy. So back on it. See how he's always looking around? He's constantly aware of what's going on the ice. Just makes a nice little chip up. Perry maybe should have read that or anticipated that more, but Anderson makes a nice dump or a nice pinch there. So nice play by Anderson as well. But still, Doughty does a nice switch off here. And now he's kind of covering Anderson. And the thing you really want to avoid happening here as a defenseman is letting the guy get kind of that inside step on you. So that's where Doughty's stick is coming into play here. And he's just keeping him to the outside because he knows he can't really get him here. And now Anderson can't necessarily pinch him off, and he can make Anderson go out a little higher. And yeah, overall, a solid little shift for Doughty there. He's good defensively. On this one, Doughty's doing a good job holding the blue line, and then there's a chip into the corner. And again, he's doing a great job of getting open for his D partner. To me, that's so crucial as a defenseman to always making yourself available for the pass, especially to your D partner, because it's a team sport and it gives everyone so many more options and allows the game to flow better for your team. And it's kind of underappreciated, I think. So Doughty does a good job. As I said in the previous shift, you do ideally want to be facing up ice so you have a better vantage point. Doughty's head is on a swivel, so he's aware of what's coming, and he couldn't quite get there. And he is kind of on his backhand a bit there, so picks it up. And he kind of didn't quite pick it up as quickly as I'm sure he would have liked. And now he does one of the things I love to see as a defenseman, and it's just slowing the flow of the game down a bit. And he comes and uses the net, what I call the seventh man, because you cannot call interference penalty on the net, and the net can run interference. So this is a safe little place for defensemen. And Doughty does a good job of using it, because now Huberdeau here, he can't really get to Doughty. he'd have to go behind him, so then Doughty would have a step, or he's got to go this way, and then Doughty has this angle. So what's he do? Comes on this side, and now look at all the options Doughty has. Pass here, probably pass up here, pass to the middle, and just giving himself that, he's able to catch Huberdeau. I would have liked to see him jump a little more sharply there, because when you do that, you'd have Huberdeau completely trapped below. And it's a nice little breakout. Like I said, I would have liked to see him jump a little quicker up there from the net, but it worked out well. On this channel, I'm a big advocate of gap control. And in the offensive zone, gap control is a little tricky to navigate. So this is a good example of when you can kind of hold the zone. And the things you're looking for are kind of a flat-footed forward here. So Klapka is receiving a pass high, so he doesn't have much speed coming at you. And Doughty's just kind of holding this area, as you should, playing a good gap. And he's just going to do a simple little poke. But you see how his feet are still going back? That to me is like he's just kind of maintaining the pressure, but he's not fully committing. And it works out great. Whereas if Klapka was coming with speed and it was a clean pass, that to me is a red light. You want to start going back, playing the rush. But Klapka, head down, flat-footed, pass was kind of in his feet, and he's up high. That to me is a time you can just maintain this zone here. You don't want to fully commit. You want to be ready for that possible chip past you, and Doughty does a perfect job here. They keep the puck in. This play here is one of those little plays that I was talking about earlier that Doughty does and really good players do that it's kind of hard to capture on camera. So hopefully you can see what I mean. And he has Klapka coming down on him here. So as you see how Doughty's feet just kind of stop moving? This is intentional. He's letting Klapka actually get closer to him. And when he does, watch, Klapka's now on him. There's like no space here. And now Doughty's going to turn the jets on. And he just kind of gets that foot in front of Klapka. So let's watch it one more time. So see all the space here? If Doughty were to just turn up, Klapka's right on him. He's getting the puck off him would be a lot easier. So he actually wants Klapka to catch up to him. So he lets him come, and then that quick little crossover there, he gets his feet just in front of Klapka and his stick. So now he's got the step on Klapka. It's very subtle. He just loses the puck, but he had Klapka there. He had him, and it's a clever little play. You just want to get your feet in front of them. So typically you're taught as a defenseman, you don't want two defensemen in the same corner. And Doughty kind of shows when you can make the exception. So you see how he's constantly looking, and he notices Moore here is coming down. And I don't know if this is something they've practiced before as a team, but Doughty notices it's all tied up here. And he kind of creeps down. He's not jumping right in. He's just kind of hovering. And he notices that no one really has control of the puck. So he's just going to poke and not fully commit. Because if he goes in, the puck could pop out and Kadri here could just rip around. So he's kind of hovering back and he's kind of fishing for the puck. And he gets it. And now he's good. And now we're about to see some Doughty magic. Just a nasty little pass. That's a tough one to pull off, but that also probably had Moore there yelling for it. So yeah, nice little play. If you watched my Bouchard video recently, I talk about how he always kind of cheats the dump and that gets him in trouble. Doughty does a good job of not doing that because he's probably from experience aware of how that can get him in trouble. But he is still doing a good job. He knows that realistically this dump is happening because Anderson and Kopitar here are holding up the zone well. So I think that was Klapka again. He only had the option to chip. Doughty saw that. He wasn't going to commit fully right away, but he does a good job of reading it. And now look at this little play. Just a little poke. He takes the hit, not a big hit, but the key here is you either eat the puck or you got to move it quick, and he just makes such a nice little play. It's another one of those little plays that you don't fully appreciate when watching on TV, I think, because that's a pretty tricky little play. Let's just watch it one more time. Goes in. Because he knows if he were to fully commit to that backhand pass, he probably couldn't have got it off well. It's just a veteran play right there. And now look at him. He's getting right up. Which 18 years in the league and he's still on it with his gap control. I'd love to see it. Only issue here is speedy little Lomberg. And Lombard comes in with a lot of speed. And Doughty, if you see it there, had a little hesitation. He thought he was going to pick the pass off. And then last second, he realized he couldn't. And that is what gets him caught. And Lombard has him. So now all Doughty can do is what he does here and pivots, little hack. Thankfully, no call. But that one was just a hesitation. And if he had his gap a little bit better, yeah, if he just got up a little bit more here and generated a bit more backward speed, this pass possibly would not have happened, or he would have had more speed going backwards. See how he's just kind of hanging out here? That's the only issue. He got up pretty well. He should have just got up a little bit more and got more of that speed. I think this pass kind of caught him off guard. So, yeah, gap control. LA's on the power play on this shift here, and Doughty does a great job of demonstrating where to set up on the power play and how to keep yourself available. So he is taking all of this space right here. As tempting as it may be to come down here, this passing angle isn't great. So being up here like he is, it makes it hard not to pass to him, to be honest, which is a really important thing to do. So if we let it run, again, he's not going down here. He's hanging out up top. Little muffin shot by Fiala there, but they keep possession. And again, see this angle he's keeping? He's just keeping himself open. He's not collapsing down like I was saying earlier. He just keeps playing it. And he's taking this open space. You can always skate into it. It's harder to back out of it. So it collapses. And now this is exactly why he's kind of hanging out here. If he was right down here, this puck shooting out, he would not be able to possibly react to it. So now he's there. Nice little play. And that is just a result of taking the space at the top. A lot of defensemen have the tendency to collapse down when they see that space. You want to skate into it. The only issue I have with this, what he does in the power play here, we have Kopitar here on the puck, and it's one-on-one. When you're on the power play, you want to outnumber. You always want to make the battles so you have one more guy. So Doughty here, I see what he's kind of seeing. He's kind of anticipating the possible puck going through. But Doughty should be hopping down and making that a 2-on-1. And instead, Calgary is able to get the puck out. Only issue with that power play on my end. But overall, Doughty does such a good job of staying high, keeping their penalty kill stretched out, and walking into the space. LA is getting to the end of a penalty kill here, and Doughty demonstrates a great job of holding the zone even on the penalty kill. So LA has their 3 guys here, and they're kind of trapping up the blue line. A lot of defensemen kind of have the tendency to just keep backing in. But Doughty here, he's doing a good job. He's holding this area, and he's making Calgary either move it to the side with a chip in. He's just making them make a play and lose that speed they're getting from that entrance that they tend to do. So see how everything slows down and they have to peel back up. If Doughty just backed right in, they would have been able to penetrate a lot deeper into the zone. So that was a really nice play. And now see how the Calgary guy doesn't have full possession. When you're on the penalty kill as a defenseman, when they have their back to the play or they don't fully have possession, they're kind of fumbling the puck. As a defenseman, you want to hop on that. That's why I've said in other videos, like the Lane Hudson one, he's quick. I would like to see him on the penalty kill because hopping on pucks like this is really important. So Doughty does a good job. He hops on it right away and he's staying on it. But now that he sees Calgary has full possession, this guy's facing the play, he's going to back off. And now on a penalty kill, you kind of want to always play the 2-on-1s. Calgary's doing an interesting thing. They have 2 guys in front of the net here. You don't see that too often on the penalty kill. And the only thing I'd like to see Doughty do here is kind of move to this side of the 2 players because that just allows him that positioning that I talked about before. Kind of lost his head there in the movement, but that allows you to be between the net and these guys. Where he currently is, he's kind of in a weird position. And see how they're kind of boxing him out and he can't really get to that rebound, which is what allows, is that Huberdeau, I'm not sure, to just keep jamming at the puck. So only thing I'd like to see better there is that body positioning. And as defensemen, something to really pay attention to, be between the net and those offensive guys. I've mentioned in other videos how elite defensemen are really good at using their fakes to buy themselves time. The Quinn Hughes one, for example, he does a great job of demonstrating that. And I think Doughty is probably one of, if not the best in the league. So you see here, he's looking, he's kind of selling the forward that he's going to that side, and he keeps going. And the other subtle little thing he does, you see how he's kind of positioning his body like he's about to kind of drive the net. It's very subtle, but again, it's another selling feature to that forward that he's going to cut. If he was already acting like he's going to change direction, the forward wouldn't buy it. And what does he do? The forward bites. He goes back and he uses my favorite thing, the net. And now look, two guys on him. And as a breakout, that is the best feeling is you're about to beat two guys with a pass. So now look, these guys are low and one pass that got him out. So that to me is just beautiful. And Doughty's one of the best at it. This shift here embodies an amazing defenseman. And it starts off with gap control. So Doughty knows right here, this guy's covered. He's got back pressure. So it's 2-on-2 with back pressure. And immediately as a defenseman, what you're thinking is cutting off that red line. And you're making that forward either ice it, chip it, just make a play. And that's exactly what Doughty does. Cuts him off, makes him make a play. And now the next thing is he's getting open for his D partner, which is crucial. You really got to be open for your D partner as much as possible. You want to make it as easy as possible for him to pass it to you. Doughty does that. He already looked over his shoulder. He knows what pressure is going on. And then just an amazing hard pass out of the zone. Like that to me is textbook defenseman. Doughty does another one of those subtle little things that I think people may not notice on TV. And it stems from good gap control. But I'll show you here. See, Sharangovich has the puck here. And if Doughty didn't have this gap that he does, if he was kind of back here, this would have allowed Sharangovich to get that pass through, which would have allowed them to kind of gain this much ice. And I'll show you why that's important. Just that subtle little stick blocking that pass it makes the Calgary guy have to delay, which then allows this guy to catch him. And now all of a sudden it's a 2-on-2, a 3-on-3. So it's very subtle, but just having that good gap and blocking off that pass completely diffused that 2-on-1 rush. And now Doughty does a good job holding up. Stick is active. And now he identifies, look, 3 guys caught down low. And Doughty's thinking, join the rush. So he hops in. And see, he's not just like driving, which I think a lot of defensemen think when they join the rush, let's just get up in the play. No, Doughty is identifying all of this space and he's just hanging out in it. Look at that. Unreal. Big shot. And you notice what he does right away? He doesn't keep driving in. He gets right back. So yeah, he's unreal. He's really good. Doughty here does another one of those little plays that I was talking about that are tough to notice on TV, but make a huge difference when you're playing against him. And if you watch his stick here, just watch what he does to block the pass. See that? See how he just kind of moved his stick back and forth? He knew this guy was looking for that pass. And a lot of defensemen in a 2-on-1 scenario like this, when you know the guy's looking for the pass across, because he doesn't really have a shot from where he is, a lot of defensemen have the tendency to lay down on the ice. But if Doughty were to do that and he lays down here, he's all of a sudden immobilized. And now this guy can walk around and he's got this pass here, even 2-on-0. So just staying up on the 2-on-1 and being active with your stick like that makes a huge difference. And that is a veteran play on a 2-on-1. Doughty's gap control and active stick is second to none in my opinion. He does again another little play that just completely diffuses the rush for Calgary. So watch, he's doing a great job of staying up, right? He can't fully block off the red line. So the next thing you're thinking as a defenseman is I'm not letting you enter the blue line, or I'm not letting you enter the blue line easily. So Doughty's stick, see how active his stick is? And that little holding the guy up and active stick all of a sudden made him, rather than going straight in, makes the forward have to cut across, which then slows down this guy. And then all of a sudden they enter the zone with a lot less speed, which allows the back checker to catch up. And now look, I think that's Kadri. He's caught, he's got nothing. And the rush is done. And it's just from that very subtle thing of holding up active stick and just not letting them enter that next line easily. This one is a rare shift where Doughty makes a bit of a blunder. I don't know if he's tired in it, but we'll get to it. First, he makes a nice little rush. And something I'm a big fan of is light chips into space. To do this, you need to really understand where the play is flowing and where there is space and where your players are flowing. So Doughty does a good job. He makes just a nice little chip to space. He knows that he's got Kopitar here going into space. This guy's, and he's just catching these two guys. That's what he's doing with this little chip. And look, he just beat two guys with that chip. Another little play that to me shows brilliance. He joins the rush. Nice little poke like we've seen him do before. But this is where he makes a mistake. I'd like to see him get up to this area here, but instead he just kind of hangs out over here. To me, I think he's maybe anticipating some sort of rim back this way, or he's tired. I don't know what it is, but this is a little blunder on his end. And it's not honestly a huge deal. He's really not out of the play, but it's subtle in that now he can't really, he's kind of out of position, and his D partner is kind of stuck in a weird spot too. His gap's not great either, his D partner. But I would like to see Doughty just kind of like turn backwards here and play this normally. This back checker drops the ball too. So again, not even really a blunder on his end, and it's not a huge deal. It's just trying to teach you guys, you don't want to admire your pass too much. When you lose the puck like that here, you want to stay between, you want to get back between these dots, depending on what side you're on. And yeah, you just kind of, you don't want to hang out on the boards like that. You're kind of in a weird position. But overall, not a bad shift, realistically. I've mentioned this in other videos, how important it is to kind of get the puck out of this area when you get it, because a shot from here is a tough angle to hit on. And if you miss on this side, it's kind of a possible breakout for the other team. And there's a lot of pressure coming up here. So ideally, you're moving the puck to the middle of the ice somehow, whether skating it or passing it, or getting it back low, because you're kind of in an awkward position on the boards here. Anderson kind of does what I don't like to see in this scenario and takes a shot. And Doughty here is aware of it. He's aware of what happens. At least Anderson, by the way, missed on this side. So if you're going to shoot from there, shoot on the short side. But Doughty reads this. He knows when there's a shot from this area that there's a good chance of it missing the net, or even just a ricochet out. So Doughty right here is hopping right away. He gets it, puts it nice, and he kind of does what he probably thinks Anderson should have done, which is just kind of get it into this space. And then look, this shift, he learned his lesson. He gets back. And just want to show you guys that because it's something subtle, but shows a lot of intelligence. And yeah, a few things you could learn from that shift. That's it, guys. Calgary ended up winning 2-1 in overtime. But for Doughty, what can you say? Honestly, 18 years later, and he's still one of, if not the best defenseman in the league, in my opinion. He is such a good all-around defenseman. He may not be as quick as he used to be, but he's the smartest I've seen him play. And he's just such a good all-around defenseman. He's patient. He's smart. His footwork is still great, to be honest. He's got a big shot. He's physical. You do not want to be in front of the net with him. He's got that tenacity that I like to see. And he just kind of, one of the things he's really good at is he just makes it so you have to pass to him. You kind of can't not pass to him. He makes it so easy for you to pass to him. And I can't say enough good things. He, to me, embodies what a defenseman should play like. And there's a lot you can learn from him. So just pay attention to his gap control. He's physical. He's not huge, but he makes it so you don't want to be in the corner in front of the net with him. So those are some really important things you can learn, and just how he takes space. So hopefully you guys find this video useful. Let me know if there's anyone you want me to do an analysis on next. I'm doing full game breakdowns of NHL defensemen, hoping to pass on my knowledge of defense to you so you can see the game a little bit deeper. Hope you enjoyed.